findings on
particularly well or particularly poorly given its scale?
Yes, sir. Our scopes vary quite a bit from school district to district. The size doesn't necessarily necessitate.
It's important.
Of justification, given the size of their operation, is a big business, and they're, I know my company, you probably could go through the audit general, probably go through it and find some things they do better. But I just don't know how hard to be on these folks when I hear all this. It all sounds very salacious, and I see the news reports, and they weren't terribly contrite when they were talking in the media back home. But I don't know how big a problem they have down there.
Right.
Sorry.
Understood. We have another speaker. We have Jacqueline Perez. Ms. Perez, you're recognized. Ms. Perez, are you from Fort Myers?
Yes, I
All
am.
right, very good. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you for allowing me to speak. I had prepared a speech, but I'm going to change it now and just go on the audit. I wanted to respond to a few things that the school district had said, and we do not have an auditor that checks everything. We do have an auditor by the name of Mr. Brown, and the only thing that he supervises or he checks, he audits, is the petty cash and the monies that are directly inside the school. Now, we do hire outside companies, one being Gibson, that recently did an audit that supposedly was a wonderful audit. One of the findings of that audit was that we got great markings for having GPS in all the maintenance vehicles. When I had done a public records request for the GPS, I was told there are no GPS in the vehicles. And I have that email to prove that. So that's very disturbing to me, that even the people who are doing the audits that we're paying are not being given factual, true information. We had another senator here who was a builder, and perhaps he'll understand when it comes to billing. With the Bonita project, which I think it was one of the senators over here asked about a $64 million overage. The project was awarded in 2015. By March of 2017, we did not receive hard numbers. That was part of the cause of the problem. When finally the hard numbers came in for this project, we were $15 million over. No one had been going within those 2 years to check pricing, to make any kind of additions that we needed. No one calculated this. So what we did when we were going to build this great school, we ended up cutting seats, eco-green environmental construction ideas that we had, and we ended up bringing it down $15 million to meet the budget. 3 months later, we're $15 million over again. So it was total chaos with that project. Right now, we have about 600 kids in that school for a school that was $85 million. The other thing I wanted to address was the video. When we come to time cards, I believe Susan Millay said that there's video to check. Well, there was a dump truck trailer with the value of $10,000 stolen from the school district. When the police came to view the video, it had been erased because no one saved it. So there is no way to check if you're erasing evidence. I want to go over it.
Yeah, and if you can just stick to the audit. I mean,
that's what I'm doing.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. Thank you.
Okay. The cost control, number 2 and number 3, which was the IAQ on the audit. Scope of work was in question, is what the Florida auditor had concerns with. When in construction, you sign a contract with your vendor, and there is an itemized area of scope of work. These two companies that have been with the district for over approximately 10 years, have a scope of work. And none of these items on this scope of work covered removing rocks, replacing sod, leveling a baseball field and football field, wiping down benches, and replacing grass. some of the bills from those companies in 2017 for 1 day's work, $124,000, $129,000, $154,000. There is one for $169,000. This was Company B, who only has 5 employees. And it goes on and on for pages. His total amount for that year was over $2,400,000. And there was no checking. It was just a flat. That's not acceptable. As a taxpayer, it's not acceptable. So I do have evidence to show that relates to the audit. And I do have genuine concerns of things not being managed or supervised properly. And I hope that this committee can do something to help us as citizens in Lee County. Our taxpayers, our dollars are being wasted. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Manager.
Do you want me to leave the paperwork, the
You're more than
evidence?
welcome. If you'll just leave them on the table there, we'll get them afterwards, but I appreciate it. Thank you so much for driving
Sure.
up. I really appreciate your comments today. All right. Members, next is our enforcement against local government and educational entities that have failed to correct audit findings that have been repeated for 3 or more audits. Debbie will present those.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. If you look behind tab 2, there, the second page in is an overview. This is the 6th year that we've had in the past 6 years notifications from the Auditor General. And you can see on page 2 of the overview, the table showing the number of entities, the number of findings that have come in. It deals with colleges, universities, charter schools, district school boards, and then the counties, municipalities, and special districts, including all the constitutional officers that have their individual financial statements combined into the county audit. So as you look, we do have the next thing in behind tab 2 is the directory of the schedules by entity. So